Hey, so today I thought I would do like a disappointing makeup and beauty products video. Um, Now that that awkward kind of description is out of the way, I can get into what I didn't like. Anyway, so yeah, these are things that I didn't like that disappointed me for various different reasons. I know people always do like disclaimers and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. I don't think I think YouTube is a place where people try to be almost too PC at times. And I'm not gonna excuse my opinion to within an inch of its life, but um, yeah, like I mean, it's to state the obvious that things that don't work for me might work for other people. So um, it's just always something that really irritates me when people are just so sort of like, well, it's just my opinion. I mean, just kind of watering it down to within an inch of its life. So, obviously, to state the obvious, these things might work for other people. And they didn't work for me. So, there you go, that's it. So, yeah, the first thing I was disappointed in was a heat styling tool for my hair, and it's this. I think I showed this in a recent haul. It is the Boutique Waves wand from Babyliss. So yeah, I was really excited to try this. I thought it would give me sort of like Serena Vanderwood's and kind of wavy hair, but to be honest, it didn't really do anything at all. And I used it. I'd used it the day that I filmed that video. So I mean, you can tell it gave like a slight. It didn't look like my hair was poker straight, but it didn't really do anything. It didn't really give me waves. And this is kind of I think it's like third day hair with the Babyliss conical wand. And I mean, it gives you kind of like, yeah, I was disappointed in that. But if anyone out there has any sort of tip or trick to using that and getting sort of a nice wavy result, um, it'd be much appreciated because I've got this massive sort of like I bought it and I don't know what to do with it, and obviously I want to be able to use it. Um, the next thing I'll talk about is this Garnier makeup remover gel. It's like the Pure Active 2-in-1. Removes even waterproof makeup. So basically, it's supposed to do the job that a cleansing oil would. You can use it all over your face. You can use it on your eyes, and it's supposed to be really good, really effective at removing waterproof makeup. So everything like gel eyeliner, heavy eyeshadow primer and stuff like that. It's just supposed to get rid of everything. And I really liked the idea of that because I have the MAC Cleanse Off oil, but what irritates me about that is I use it usually just to remove eye makeup. And usually what happens is when I try and hold it in my hands, it just sort of slips through. Could be something to do with the fact that I have small hands, but it just gets everywhere. Half of it ends up down the sink, and it's a bit of a faff. So I prefer things that are slightly thicker to put on my face. And I liked the sound of this because it was a gel, so it's obviously going to be thick. The first time I used this, I just slathered it all over my face, and I used I didn't use loads of it near my eyes, but I did use like a sufficient amount, as much as I would use like a cleansing oil. And I've never had a problem with cleansing oil stinging my eyes or anything like that. I don't have particularly sensitive eyes, and it just stung. It stung like hell, basically. A little bit of it got into my eye, but obviously you're using it near your eye, so that happens. And it stung like hell. It was horrible. Like, it was really, really, really bad. And it wasn't even like very small bit of it got into my eye, and it was like one eye. It was in one eye, and then when I was trying to wash it out, I guess a bit got in the other eye, and that one started stinging too. And it was absolutely like, it was painful. It was painful. It wasn't just kind of, the way you get like blurry eyes sometimes if you're using any sort of kind of oil-based eye makeup remover. It was so painful. It did remove my makeup. I liked the fact that it sometimes with an oil it can feel kind of greasy and stuff when you're putting it on. This didn't at all. It was because I think it's meant for oily skin. So that's quite nice, and it did remove my makeup very, very well. I don't know, maybe that's just kind of some sort of sensitivity my eyes have to something that's in this. I was just taking a look at the ingredients list on the back, and it said it has salicylic acid. I'm not sure if it's kind of common practice. I'm not. I don't know very much about the formulation of products, but I know that salicylic acid. You shouldn't really be putting things that are. You shouldn't really be putting acids in products that are used to remove eye makeup. And I know that things that contain salicylic acid or like AHAs or BHAs, they tell you specifically to avoid your eye because it's an acid, and obviously it's not going to be good for your eye. So I'm a bit confused if you are supposed to be able to use it. It says to use, like, on the directions, it says you can use it on your face and your eyes. So I don't know, I'm a bit confused. If anyone knows anything about formulating products, or if you've got some sort of science background and you understand things like that, is it common practice to include salicylic acid in something you'd be using to remove eye makeup? And also, is that safe? Like, obviously, I mean, it's on the market, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's, I don't know. Instinct tells me that that's probably not the greatest of ideas, but I don't know very much about sciencey things like that. So the next thing that I was disappointed by was the Sheer Mirror Under Makeup Base. So it's just basically like an aerosol can, and it's got a mousse inside. It's got like a ball bearing, and you just kind of squeeze it out. Mine is in the shade beige. The thing about this is that I really liked using it until none came out. There's loads more in the can. The can isn't empty, but I think it's run out of propellant. I really liked using this. I thought it was a really nice kind of airbrushed base for makeup. I really liked using this when I went on holidays, and it was really hot. It's a really nice kind of airbrush mousse. You just pump it out, put it on your hand, and you just kind of slather it all over your face. It's sort of like, it dries down. It gives you sort of like a matte finish. So it's sort of like, it's like broad spectrum SPF of 30, UVA, UVB. It's very good sun protection, and that's one of the things I like about Asian brands. Yeah, I loved wearing this under foundation. The thing that I really liked about this is, compared to using, say, like, I really like using the La Roche-Posay sunscreen, facial sunscreen, but even the kind of matte invisible fluid, it does leave a slight white cast, and it's definitely not something you could wear on its own without putting a foundation over it, because it does give you that sort of ghost face look. So that was one of the things I really liked about this, is that it didn't do that. But the reason I don't like it is because it ran out, and I only got about 2 months usage out of this, and I didn't use it every day. I did use the other La Roche-Posay sunscreen, and there were days where, if I wasn't going out, if I wasn't going anywhere, or if I was just going somewhere in the evening, I'd have no need to use this. So I don't know if this is something that's happened to other people. I've heard some reviews where people love this and some people hate it, just based on how it actually performs for them. But I've never heard of this happening to anyone else, so maybe I just got a faulty can. I'm definitely going to bring it back to where I bought it and just, show this to them and say, like, what do I do with this? Like, it isn't working. I've had that kind of at the end of, tail end of using like a hair mousse. Sometimes, there might be a very small amount of it left, but it starts kind of coming out very watery at the end because there isn't so much propellant, and it takes a while for it to kind of fluff up. Whereas at the very end of using this, it was just coming out as a liquid. I'm going to try and I'll bring it back and just kind of ask the girls at the counter what the deal with this is, because I don't see how this could have been my fault, and I don't think it is my fault. I think that definitely shouldn't happen. One of the last things I have to show is the Figs and Rouge lip balm. I have a couple of these. This is the cherry one. I have different kind of flavoured ones. The reason I didn't like this was because, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but you can sort of see it there. It's a very grainy texture, and most of them when I opened them were like this. And it's sort of like honey that's crystallized. It's crystallized basically. I'm sure it's got something to do with the ingredients, but I find that a bit irritating, and sometimes when you're spreading it on your lips, it just felt like gritty and uneven and gross basically, and just wasn't a pleasure to apply. I'd prefer to use Vaseline. And another thing I didn't like is that when you got kind of halfway through, if you'd used like a good few layers of this, it usually got very mushy and very soft, to the point where it just felt like you were literally applying oil to your lips, and it didn't last very long. I didn't find that this was a particularly effective lip balm anyway, but it just didn't last very long at all. And you kind of had to leave it there. Like once it got to that mushy stage, you kind of had to leave it there for a couple of weeks, and then you could pick it back up. And generally, like if you left it there for a couple of weeks, it'd solidify a little bit more. But I think for the price, I think these are around €6 each or something like that. I think I got them when they were on 3 for 2, so I didn't feel so bad about buying them. I wouldn't recommend these. I do think they have some of the cutest tins going though. Like that's the cherry one. This is the cocoa vanilla one. I just think that's so sweet, and even like kind of the back and stuff, I just think they're really, really sweet. And then this is one of my favourite ones, and it's the pomegranate one, or just the tin anyway. I just think that's super cool, the design of it, and then at the side, and even on the, you can see that they're a little like, kind of, yeah, I just thought it was really cute. I thought the tins were really cute, and that's kind of a large part of why I bought these in the first place. And I actually have these two sitting on my dresser, because I just think they look very decorative and very nice, but I wouldn't recommend buying them. I know some people really like them because they're organic, 100% organic, and natural is the buzzword at the moment, so everyone's kind of going mad for stuff like that, but I don't think that they're good. I don't think that they work. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Percy & Reed volumizing no oil for fine hair. Stupid name. It is an oil, sort of, with a lot of silicone added to it. The reason I don't like this is because it contains, one of the first ingredients in this is actually alcohol, denatured alcohol. They do that with some of these oils, and they do that with a lot with salt sprays. They put alcohol, a lot of alcohol, and I'm not sure if that's because they think it'll help volumize the hair, kind of dry out the hair a bit and then give a bit more volume. But the thing is, like, especially if you're using an oil, it's supposed to kind of, people who use this might think that they're, it's an oil, you kind of think of maybe like taking care of your hair, it's going to smooth your hair, make it easier to work with, softer, that kind of thing. I use the Extraordinary Oil by L'Oreal, and I don't find that that ever interferes with any natural volume I might have. And I don't have very much volume in my hair, but it certainly doesn't make my hair slippy or, difficult to work with or anything like that. And I don't find that this does anything extraordinary. Like, I don't find that it does give me any volume at all, really. And the fact that it has alcohol in it, it does leave my hair feeling a little bit frazzled. It softens my hair slightly, but at the same time, it makes it feel a little bit dry, if that makes any sense. And I just don't like it. I got this as like a freebie with Glamour magazine because I was going away and I didn't want to bring like a really big bottle. Like the Extraordinary Oil comes in like this big glass bottle. And I know you can decant it and stuff like that, but I just thought that this was, it was something that I'd heard good things about anyway. And it comes in a tiny little pump, and it's a very light, like plastic bottle. But yeah, I think this is probably one that I'll be tossing because I think it's crap. Yeah, I really don't like it when companies put like loads and loads and loads of alcohol in hair products when you just don't need it. Like, you definitely don't need alcohol, a lot of alcohol in salt sprays to give you texture and volume, and you certainly don't need it in these hair oils. And a lot of people use these to take care of their hair, and the name, like hair oil, it's sort of synonymous with kind of smooth, kind of cared for, well kept hair, and that's not really what alcohol does to your hair. It does dry it out, and it makes it kind of more difficult to brush through, and you have more knots, and it leads to kind of hair breakage and stuff like that. Not that that's a huge deal, but basically I find that it creates problems where there aren't any or whatever. Yeah, so these are things that didn't work for me, that disappointed me, and that I didn't like. So hopefully that's been helpful to someone, or maybe you enjoyed watching it, even if it wasn't helpful. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.